r/ForeverAlone. Smooth Forest says, just stop whining all the time. If normies hate our posts so much, why don't they just not come to the subreddit? I see them on every post, giving unsolicited advice, or trying to contradict our experiences, or calling us lazy, pathetic, or evil misogynists. Wouldn't it be so simple to ignore something that annoys them so much? I initially thought the behavior of normies on this sub was quite perplexing, but I think I understand. If you think about it, what else are they to do? Their success in relationships would mean nothing if we didn't exist. Our existence is the source of their happiness. Let me explain. If everyone was good, then no one would be good. Everything would be neutral. No one would find happiness in anything. In the same way, in order to love yourself, you need to acknowledge that you are good at something. But in order for someone to be good at something, other people need to be bad at it. In order to feel that you are good at something, you need to acknowledge and regularly remind yourself that other people are bad at that thing. You need to keep reminding yourself that others are inferior to you. Which is why it's not enough for normies to get girlfriends or boyfriends. They need to acknowledge and regularly remind themselves that there are people out there without girlfriends and boyfriends in order for them to feel good about themselves. In other words, us. If everyone was in a relationship, the value of a relationship would dwindle. They need us. Without us, they'd fail to define themselves. Which is why calling someone a virgin is a common insult. Which is why incorporated is becoming a similarly common insult. And there's plenty other insults in the same vein. Because in order for normies to define themselves, they need to keep reminding themselves that there are people who are inferior to them. They need us. Which is why they'll keep coming to this sub and keep giving us condescending normie advice, and will never admit that the reason why some people may be lonely is due to factors out of their control. Autism, height, bone structure, socioeconomic status, ethnicity? Nope, can't be any of that. Has to just be a negative attitude or laziness, or insert insult here. The underlying issue really comes down to human nature. As humans, we don't define ourselves by our success, we define ourselves by others' failures. Because success can't exist without failure. Happiness can't exist without sadness. Wealth can't exist without poverty. Superiors can't exist without inferiors. Comparison is a fundamental aspect of the human brain. People don't seek to rise up the hierarchy to reap the wealth and luxury that comes from being at the top. It comes from the view, seeing the people down at the bottom of the hierarchy writhing in the filth of their own inferiority. Humans are trash. People look at cartoon villains in movies who seek out wealth and power for no sympathetic reason and say, they're so unrealistic, real people aren't like that, and they are right. Because real people are much worse. Matt_whatever Silver says, if normies suddenly woke up in the body and brain of a fur, they would immediately throw themselves off of a window. Not exaggerating, I mean that 100%. Being touch-stuffed, loveless, and invisible takes a massive toll on your mental health and life. We are stronger than they will ever be. Normies whine while being absurdly privileged. And since I'm not a psychopath, when normies, in the past, came up to me and talked about their problems, I actually listened to them. Because it's not about me. They are the ones dealing with it. So again, since I'm not a psycho, I take it seriously. They don't do that to us. Smooth Forest says, what you said isn't even a hypothetical scenario. It literally happened during the pandemic. They whine so much about loneliness. Whereas for us, it was just another Tuesday. And even in their situation, they didn't really experience what we experienced. They knew that once the pandemic was over, they'd be able to go back to their friends and lovers just like before. Whereas for us, there's no guarantee that we'll ever experience true intimacy before we die of old age, or in my case finally get the courage to throw myself off a bridge. Dependent_chemist says, if normies didn't have double standards they wouldn't have any standards at all. Barry Jordan 586 says, yeah, I made a post about this a while back. Basically their advice is gaslighting, and they do it, at best, to make themselves feel better, just world fallacy etc. At worst, they do it because kicking a loser while he's down gives them some sadistic pleasure and reinforces their own social status. Swanson Samsonite says, if everyone was good, then no one would be good. Everything would be neutral. Same with everyone is beautiful in their own way. Real Logic says, I'm directly quoting a normie who literally replied to one of my comments saying this. I just come here to look at all you zoo animals lol. I genuinely believe most normies feel this way deep inside. It's just this asshole happened to admit it out loud but most won't. They pretend like they're giving some golden advice from the pure goodness of their heart, but in reality they do it all with absolute hostility and passive aggressiveness. I'm actually surprised this type of shit hasn't been addressed and eliminated on this sub. I guess one of the rules of not gatekeeping has allowed every kind of person in this sub, including people who despise us and want to make fun of us. None of their advice is useful, it's the same platitude over and over again. It's like a sing a new song would ya. It's always if you keep doing this and that, if your attitude is blah blah blah, if you keep blaming this that and the third, if you keep blaming others, if. It's all this of BS. It's just a way to make themselves feel superior. There is no genuine empathy. It's all hostile BS and acting like we're at fault for everything that has happened in our lives. Even when we take some responsibility for our lives being where it is, they still take the opportunity to take a hot steaming poo on our chest. r/ForeverAlone. Hurting Butterfly says, being alone doesn't make you stronger. So many people tell me being alone in life makes you stronger. It doesn't. I had to deal with all of my emotional problems on my own as a kid, never got hugs or comfort from my mom or any family whatsoever. I was either ignored or abused. And here I'm 23 with no friends or partner to all my life. I've become the most bitter and hateful person. I've even lost empathy and have no remorse if I hurt anyone. All I have is negative feelings. This isn't being strong, it's being destroyed inside with a spiked shell. Anyone who comes close to me will get hurt on this shell now. Being alone for so long makes you lose yourself and your humanity. Doofus5 says, true. Strength comes from love. The power of friendship always beats the villain in shows and movies lol. Filthy Ugly Weeaboo says, if being alone makes you stronger then why is solitary confinement a punishment and something to be avoided? I swear these people say these things just to make themselves feel like they are helping someone when it only shows their ignorance or lack of care. Anathurguy 783 says, this sounds familiar as a guy. Being alone has not made me stronger. I never got love as a kid. I was ignored for a sibling and the sibling would beat me up because she liked doing so. School was nothing but bullying and humiliation. I had no friends. I know the bitterness because I feel it every day. If I vent anywhere outside of this sub I'm labeled the I word and banned. At this point I'm poisonous because of my baggage. I understand Opus. If you have had nothing but negative feelings, how are you supposed to be happy or strong? Potential_note_4894 says, I can completely relate. And then rather than being understanding people choose to demonize us and say we're using our pain as an excuse to be an asshole. Frick all that. Own Butterscotch 1713 says, agree. Pseudo Mensch says, being alone makes you weak Because you become afraid of people over time, so you are incapable of facing the challenges that come with dealing with others as you get older. You have little positive reassurance to keep you going, and you can easily drift towards unhealthy solitude. It's actually the opposite of what others are supposedly saying about getting stronger. They're likely mistaking apathy with strength. I also deal with reduced empathy and remorse over hurting others. That's not strength. Sonic Too Cool says, I've become the most bitter and hateful person. I've even lost empathy and have no remorse if I hurt anyone. All I have is negative feelings. This isn't being strong, it's being destroyed inside. This is how I'm, but I'm 20. We have the same childhood. Mom didn't care about me either, would just scream at me. I don't care anymore about anything. I really am done. I have no empathy either. Everything just angers me and irritates me, even my own family, because I'm just so fed up with life. No one should feel this alone and so depressed. I'm older and just more angry with the world. No one is ever genuinely nice, they just want to hurt me. It's all bullshit. I can't see it ever changing. Unless I drop dead, then that's it, finally all over. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.